Hi. Okay, so I kind of like dressed up for this. So I'm gonna do a speech on the Chena Lake River and the Tanana River, which are interior Alaska, and they are tributaries to the Yukon. And so I'm kind of talking about the Fairbanks region. That's where the dam is that I'm talking about. I kind of tweaked my audience a little bit. I wrote the speech for to be read at the Alaska Federation of Natives Convention for Elders and Youth that takes place every October. That's actually going on this week. So that was like really inspiring to listen to youth who were invited to speak about issues that they find are important in their communities. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna start. Moose Creek Dam needs to go. We as Indigenous peoples have a strong connection to the earth. Our sacred commitment to our ancestors has led us to act in accordance with the well-being of our land. We feel the wounds we inflict with deep empathy, and we will all suffer the consequences of not taking care of our life source. We are the land, we are the balance, and we are all suffering as those in power continue to rape the earth and defile its resources. Water is one of the most important life sources, if not the most important. Our people have shown that we don't need sunlight to survive. But if we did not have our relationship with water, we could not survive. Many of our blessings come from the water, whether it comes from the form of ice or snow or free-flowing rivers. It provides our food, our transportation, and our drinking water. Our whole existence is surrounded by it, and this is just another reason why we need to fiercely fight for the process of decolonization. We were all raised to understand this. Our traditional ways have always upheld the health of our land. We were taught to let the biggest salmon back into the water so that we don't overfish. We were taught to always pick every other berry bush so that they would come back the next year. We were all taught to never hunt more than we needed so that we remain in balance with our animals. And you don't want to disrespect the animals' sacrifices. But the values we hold as First Nations have been tossed aside, and the white man has brought us all to the impending end of the earth as we know it. We need to take a stand against those who want to continue to hurt our home. Moose Dam is the issue we face today. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has released a statement on how they intend to repair and improve the dam, since it is at risk of failing. This would have resounding issues for the Chena River, and instead of deconstructing it, they choose to repair it. They have let this go too far. It was built as a part of the Chena River Lakes Flood Control Plan, which was made to prevent flooding in the towns of Fairbanks, Fort Wainwright, and the North Pole. The river in the summer is free-flowing, but in the winter, it diverts excess ice and water to the Tanana River. And for this to work properly, they'd have to clear all of the native vegetation away from these areas. This would have catastrophic effects on the wildlife, as well as those who rely on the vegetation and wildlife for food and medicinal purposes. Our people's way of life should not be put in jeopardy just because our capitalist society deems it necessary, especially since our society already penalizes Indigenous peoples simply because we aren't white. This decision to rebuild and improve the dam is inherently anti-Indigenous, and it shows when our voices aren't taken into account or heard. On top of this, the spillways collect the rich minerals from the water. This permanently changes the soil, and if in the future they decide to deconstruct the dam, these areas will still be permanently altered, and they will never return to their original state as they had promised when they built the dam. This again would leave subsistence hunters and gatherers at a significant disadvantage, and as I said before, they are already disproportionately struggling within our society, so this would leave them in an even worse position than they were already in. Another issue that has not been addressed in the statement that the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers released was that they would have to rebuild and repair a significant amount of the dam. This would have caused more air pollution that would just sit in the valley of the town of Fairbanks, which already has an issue with air pollution. So this would this would perpetuate the air quality issues that they are already facing. Those who want to repair the dam are also in favor of the continuation of the development of the surrounding areas. This is just another unfortunate example of how we need to educate these people on how to remain in balance with our land and how to know when a settlement would overwhelm the natural resources in the area. The floods that the dam prevents are natural occurrences and should be allowed to take place. The people who want to put a stop to this important process will just keep going farther and farther, ravaging the land around it. We need to make change now. We need to use our voices, and we need to educate those who need educating. It's going to take work, and it's going to be hard, and those in power will be cruel and unwavering in their decision to choose profit over the well-being of our lands. We will need to look back to our ancestors and their stubbornness to survive. We need to draw upon the strength of those who came before us, and their resilience is what brought us into existence. We need to honor them by doing the right thing for the land. This is not something that we can take lightly, and we cannot keep overlooking the oppression that we face. It's going to be frustrating, it's going to be emotional, but we have strength, and we have sacred knowledge, and most importantly, we have resilience. Thank you.